Hey everyone, welcome back to Noiseberry Games. So Sean recommended this demo for me to take a look at. This is an upcoming game called Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane. It basically looks like magical Phoenix Wright. I'm a big Phoenix Wright fan, a few games behind at this point, but I've played quite a lot of them, really like it. And I think Sean knows that, so that's probably why he recommended I have a look at this demo. You can just download the demo on Steam. This is from an Indiegogo campaign that wrapped up at some point. But yeah, you can just get the demo on Steam. Let's take a look at it. It's going to be visual novel. It's going to be very like Phoenix Wright. Here we go. So we're Tyrion Cuthbert, Defense Attorney 20. The fields of battle are rife with bitterness and discord. A clash of souls brought to conflict by the corrupt powers that rule them. Mr. Cuthbert, you may now begin your cross-examination. So this must be me, Tyrion Cuthbert. So, Mr. Rudolph, you testified you saw my client at the scene, stabbing the victim with her sword. Like I said, it's very like Phoenix Wright. What's more, you claim to have seen her performing magic while doing so. Did you see all of this clearly? Yes. I could never forget such a grisly sight. I see. There is one problem with your testimony, though. Oh, and what's that? Everything you've just said, he even does the Phoenix Wright arm slam down thing, is a complete lie! What? Are you accusing the witness of perjury, defense lawyer? You should know better than to make baseless claims like that. My claim is far from baseless, Prosecutor Steelwind. Recall the state of the crime scene where the murder occurred. There's no way the witness could have seen anything during that time, much less a murder. What? Huh? The courtroom is one such battlefield. A clash between lies and truth, corruption and justice. It's here that we lawyers fight for the souls of our clients. And it was here that my journey began. Well, I already want the full game. I hope this comes... Okay, it says it's coming out December 30th, 2022. Oh, okay, that's quite a ways away. I was just thinking, like, man, I hope this comes out in time for my Steam Deck. Because the main reason I bought my Steam Deck is to be able to play visual novels on it, like, at night in bed. So I think I'll get my Steam Deck before this game comes out. But yeah, I love this already. I'm like 2 minutes in. Gods, I forgot how drab this town was. Even so, I can't help but feel just a little nostalgic. No, now's not the time for sentimentality. If I can't convince that old fool, then I need to do what's necessary. So, we'll be arriving at the McCoy Tavern shortly. It's him, it's Rudolph fella. Shall I park the carriage, sir? No, this shouldn't take long. Now please fetch my spell compendium. Sir? Surely there's no need to... Do not forget your place, Rudolph. I will not repeat myself. Fetch my spell compendium. At once, sir. Please just let me explain. I don't want to hear it. I want you out of my house. Out! That was her, leaving. That girl. That was the old man's daughter. Rudolph! Did that girl see us? No, it appears she stormed off in a hurry. Good. Please wait in the carriage while I carry out my business of murdering this old man. I will call you for you if I need you. Of course, sir. Ah, Gruffman. I see your temper is as short as ever, Flintheart. You! Honestly, how do you live in this darkness? Luxo. Lumos! What are you doing here? And how dare you bring that witchcraft into my home? You've been quite busy lately. Your rallies against the nobility have gained quite a lot of support. Too much support for my family's liking. And what? You came all this way to convince me to stop. His voice is changing a bit. All their voices change. It's just what happens. I'll give you my word. If you stop spreading dissidence, no harm will come to you or your family. Oh, now you care about my family? Did you care about my family when you shut down my livelihood? Did you care about my family when your father threatened my parents? Fuck. Did you care for my family when you killed my sister? Flintheart, please. As someone you once called a friend, I'm only going to ask you one time. Friend? Friend? I'll be dead in the ground before I ever call you a friend. Get out of my inn. I don't have time for your games. Avada Kedavra! Unfortunately, I don't think you'll have much time for anything. Whoa! Oh, that was just him getting mad, I think. Gah! He's got a gun through him? What? Damn it. That's the wrong voice. Damn it. Why couldn't you just have listened to me for once? Rudolph? Yes, sir? Ignore that dead body. Oh, gods. What did you... You killed him. Inform the town guard. Tell him you saw his daughter commit the crime. What? At once, sir. It's pretty fucked up, Rudolph. Okay, I can do this. Just take deep breaths and relax. Look, it's the... Mia Bay character? You okay, Cuthbert? You look like you're about to pass out. Ugh! Mr. Moore, I didn't see you there. Pull yourself together. What will you do if your client sees you like this? You absolutely sure about this, Mr. Mora? I really think that you should be the one defending this case. This is the reason why you became a lawyer, isn't it? It was so you could defend the mages among the common folk. I'm just a sucker for magic too, so like Phoenix Wright meets magic. Like there was a Phoenix Wright Professor Layton crossover, which was basically like the trials were about like witchcraft and stuff, and like usually had to like try and defend the witch in a courtroom. And that is honestly one of my favorite Phoenix Wright games, even though it's only like half Phoenix Wright. So like more of that kind of vibe. I'm loving this. How do you plan on doing that if you can't handle a simple murder case? A simple murder case, she says. Can't I start smaller? I could defend someone accused of a magical parking violation or something. Here comes your client. Try not to look so tightly wound. Wow, she looks absolutely depressed. Hi there. My name's Torny and I'll be your Tyrion today. What? I mean, I'm Tyrion Cuthbert. I'm gonna be your lawyer in the trial today. Oh, I'm Celeste McCoy. Take some time to get acquainted with each other. I'm gonna make some preparations before the trial. Talk. Celeste McCoy. So you can use magic. You're not a noble, are you? Of course not. Why would you think that? Sorry, I just wanted to make sure. Usually only people with noble blood can use magic. I'm honestly not sure why I have this ability. I've never been properly trained. I only know one spell. Wingardium Leviosa! Interesting, that could actually work out in our favor during the trial. Do you have your spell compendium with you? No, your boss has it right now. My boss? She must be talking about Miss Tamora. My spell compendium will be instrumental to acquitting her. Wonder why Miss Tamora hasn't given it to me yet. Do we have that in our evidence somewhere? No. Evidence. It should be in here. We don't have it, I guess. The trial. I'm sorry, this must all be really frightening for you right now. It's okay, but I just don't understand. How could they think I'd do something like this? That's right. The victim in this case is her father, isn't it? They must have arrested you because you're a mage. What? The reports say that they found traces of magic at the crime scene. And you were the closest mage around at the time. Plus old Rudy Rudolph, said that she did it. Is that seriously the only reason? Sometimes that's the only reason they need. They don't care about the truth. They only care about closing the case. I can't believe this. Ugh, I think my headaches are back. He can read minds. What the fuck, Tyrion? Me, Tyrion Cuthbert. Sorry, I have to ask. How many trials have you defended? You look really nervous. Actually, this is my first trial. What? This rookie's gonna decide my future? Wow, that's kind of harsh. Don't worry. My mentor will be with me the entire time. I'm sure she'll step in if I can't defend you properly. Right. That's a complete lie. Mr. Moore would sooner watch me sink than bail me out of trouble. Miss McCoy, please proceed to the courtroom with your defense team. The trial's about to begin. Alright, here goes nothing. Court is now in session for the trial of Celeste McCoy. I think he's got a slightly older version of her dad's voice. The prosecution's ready, Your Honor. Oh, the defense is also ready, Your Honor. Very well, let's begin the proceedings. Prosecutor Steelwind, could you please list the charges? The defendant is Celeste McCoy, a mercenary for hire. She's charged with second-degree murder and negligent misuse of the arcane arts. I see. So the defendant in question is a mage? Yes. The crime occurred inside of the McCoy Tavern, a local inn that was shut down years ago. The locals reported hearing a loud commotion coming from the building. Hours later, a carriage driver happened to enter the tavern. It was there that he found the victim, who was impaled with a sword owned by the defendant. Here's the autopsy report and a record of the sword. Aha! Died after being stabbed from behind with a magical blade. Transmutation magic. Wait, did flippin' Celeste tell us what spell she can use? She just said she can only use one. Celeste's sword. Okay. Pay attention when evidence is added to the court record, Cuthbert. A single piece of evidence could be the difference between victory and defeat. Oh, I've already found it, don't you worry. What was the defendant's relationship with the victim? I see they share the same last name. The defendant was the victim's daughter, but not by blood. Man, my voice is going after, like, recording 10 minutes of this. I don't know how I used to record, like, full series of visual novels, jeez. It appears that she was adopted into the family as an infant. Her birth parents are unknown. I see. What a dreadful turn of events. So she was adopted. That explains why she can use magic even though her family lives in the sticks. To begin, the prosecution would like to call Commander Orem White to the stand. There he is. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court. Name's Orem White. I'm commander of the Department of Arcane Inquisition. We personally investigate crimes perpetrated by mages. Now, Commander, please tell the court the details of what transpired. Yeah. This is testimony. We got a call late at night. Someone discovered a dead body inside of the McCoy Inn. When we arrived on the scene, we found Flintheart McCoy dead on the floor, with the defendant's sword still inside of him. Is that right? Is this a magical sword, though? This has no magical properties. But he was stabbed with a magical blade. So, we're gonna have to present something on this. We have several witnesses who heard the victim and defendant in a loud argument before the body was discovered. I guess their argument turned ugly, because the defendant killed the victim using her magic sword. Okay, we could probably present the sword on here, because it's not a magic sword. Isn't this really bad? One of her possessions is the murder weapon, but it's not magical. I'm not stupid, right? It has no magical properties. Cuthbert, it's time to cross-examine the witness. Find the inconsistency in his testimony and present it to the courtroom. There was an inconsistency. Cuthbert, come on. Okay, so let's go to the last one. Oh no, just get past it. So we could press him on this. I think we've already got the evidence, honestly. Objection! Commander White, you said that the victim was killed using the defendant's sword. Am I correct? Yeah, what about it? I'm sorry, Commander, but the defendant's sword couldn't have possibly been the murder weapon. What are you talking about, kid? The sword was inside his body. Of course that's what killed him. That may be the case, but take a look at the autopsy report. The fatal wound shows heavy traces of magic. So please tell me, Commander, how would a non-magical sword leave traces of magic on the body? What? If there's a magical trace on the wound, it would have needed to be in contact with something magical. My client's sword may look fancy and expensive, but it's entirely non-magical. That doesn't make a lick of sense. If the sword didn't kill him, then why was it in the body? Yes, I find that quite strange as well. Do you have an explanation for this, Mr. Cuthbert? Well, there's only one reasonable conclusion, Your Honor. The wound was created magically. And the sword was shoved into the wound afterwards. What the hell are you talking about, kid? The defendant is a damn mage. She could have easily killed the victim using magic. Why would she kill the victim using magic and then stab him with her sword? She would just be incriminating herself. No, if anything, this series of events proves one thing. Someone used magic to kill the victim, and stabbed my client's sword through the wound to frame her. Objection. I love that they're like so on the nose with how inspired by Phoenix Wright this is. Don't get ahead of yourself, you amateur. What? What do you mean, Prosecutor Steelwind? The defense is trying to spin quite the ridiculous tale. He claims a third party committed the crime and used the sword to frame the defendant. But wouldn't the simpler explanation be this? Magic was being channeled through the sword at the time of death. Commander, please explain to the court how the defendant's magic was used in the murder. Alright, I think I see where you're going with this. Testimony 2. It's true that the sword itself ain't magical, but magic can still be channeled through it. That defendant over there, her spell compendium has a spell called Mage Blade. She must have used it on her sword before stabbing the victim. That spell is the reason why there are traces of transmutation magic on the wound. Okay, that does add up with the evidence we have. So her spell compendium contains the spell Mage Blade. Spell compendium contains the magical formulas of every spell a mage is able to cast. If a spell is contained in the compendium, they can cast that spell. And if a spell isn't there, then there's no way for the compendium's owner to cast it. It's the first law of magic, a rule with no exceptions. Can I have her spell compendium then? Looking at the parameters of Mage Blade would really help. Not yet. What? But don't I need it to find a contradiction in his testimony? I think this is a good opportunity for you. Oh, she's gonna make me press some of the statements. There are parts of his testimony that were a bit lacking. If you press those statements, you might be able to gain new information that you can use. Mage Blade? It's a transmutation spell that fortifies a sword, making it sharper and deadlier. It's mainly used by swordsmen to cut right through an enemy's plate armor. Wouldn't it be excessive for my client to use a spell like that on the victim? I highly doubt he was wearing any kind of armor at the time. The victim and the defendant were in an intense argument. Perhaps she used the spell in a fit of rage. It was a crime of passion after all. That theory's a bit far-fetched. But I'll need some concrete evidence to disprove it. I don't think I have any evidence for that yet. I think probably something about like being stabbed from behind. We might be able to get that somewhere. Oh, he's got me a picture of the crime scene. Basically my argument was, if there was magic on the sword, wouldn't there be magic on the ground? And he said, yes, there was magic on the ground. Here's a picture. Looks like there are traces of magic on the ground. This shape is a little weird, isn't it? We can have a look at it here. View. Is it even the sword? It's hard to tell. I can't really tell what's going on there. I wasn't aware of this photo of the crime scene. Why wasn't it brought to my attention? There was no need. This case is open and shut. Regardless, I must ask that you add this detail to your testimony. Aha. Yeah. There we go. You can see it right in this photo. She killed him with a stab from the front. Objection! I'm sorry, Commander White, but it seems you've made another glaring contradiction. Oh yeah, and what's that? You said that my client stabbed the victim from the front? Am I correct? Yeah, you can see it plain and simple in that picture. So where's your contradiction? That's just the thing, Commander. Why don't you take a look at the autopsy report? If the photo shows the victim was impaled from the front, then why does the autopsy report say he was impaled from behind? What? Or him? Why wasn't this photo brought to my attention before the trial? You were supposed to release everything you had to me. There was no need. There's no way it could have been anyone other than that damn mage girl. Whisper, 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 whisper. Order! Order in the court! I will have order! Mr. Cuthbert, what is the meaning of this? I'll tell you what the meaning behind this is, Your Honor. As the autopsy report states, the victim died from a stab wound originating from his back. This crime scene photo proves another indisputable fact. The sword was inserted into the wound after the fatal wound had already been created. Otherwise, how else would the sword be facing the wrong way? Maybe she used a spell to switch its direction. My client only knows one spell, and is not capable of doing anything like that. Even if she did, what would be the logic behind that? No, what clearly happened is the real murderer stuck the sword through the victim's wound to implicate my client. But they made a careless mistake and stuck the sword through the opposite side. You've done well, Tyrion. But it's not over yet. What do you mean? Objection! And once again, you've gotten ahead of yourself, defense lawyer. How so? I believe he has adequately cast doubt on the prosecution's case. Is that so? Then let me ask you one question, defense lawyer. If your client didn't kill Flintheart McCoy, then who did? Well, who knows? Leave that for the commander to figure out. Oh, I'm well aware of the commander's incompetence. But one fact still stands. There was magic detected on the wound and the sword. Would you like for me to tell you how many mages live in that small town? I don't like where she's going with this. Just one. There's only one registered mage in that entire town. And that mage is your client. What? The defendant was also the last known person with the victim when he was alive. And she was the only mage anywhere close to that area. How she murdered the victim is simply an unanswered question. I see. That does change things dramatically. I can't say that the prosecution's evidence is irrefutable, but there is still enough evidence to cast guilt upon the defendant. No, I almost had it. There are still too many unanswered questions to conclude this trial. We'll give law enforcement time to clear these unknowns. I suggest they conduct the investigation more thoroughly this time. We'll resume the trial of Celeste McCoy tomorrow morning. Court is adjourned. Well, there you go. I think that's a pretty good place to leave this video. I absolutely loved this. It's so similar to Phoenix Wright, like the layout of the courtroom, everything, like even this outside shot here, like you get this exact shot when you're talking with your client before you go in Phoenix Wright. Yeah, this is awesome. I am loving this. I think I might finish the demo, but I also might just wait for full release and then, like I said, probably play it on my Steam Deck. But yeah, go add it to your wishlist on Steam. I'll have a link to it in the description. I am very excited for this game to come out. Thank you guys very much for watching. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!